Our next guest found success by collecting junk. Now he's out with a new book on how failure can be the key to your success. Joining us now is O2E Brands founder and CEO Brian Scdamore. And here's the book. WTF ? Willing to fail. I would imagine that every entrepreneur who's been successful, some people don't use the word fail as I break the chair here. It's a lesson that might be a temporary setback.
Yeah, it's failure is something that is an ingredient in success. You have to fail, you have to make mistakes, and you use it as a stepping stone to get to that next growth point in your business or your life as a leader.
Of course, failing in the right way, right, is part of it. There's sort of a way to fail.
There's a way to fail, but I mean, you can't control some of the things that happened. The economy, recessions, there's things out of your control. In 5 years into the business, 1994, I fired my entire company. I had 11 employees, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch, and I decided I had 9 bad apples, I'm gonna part ways. And it was a leadership lesson for me. It didn't feel like failing the right way. It felt like the wrong way because I went from a truckload, or amount of trucks of 5 down to 1. And I was like, what just happened to my company? But starting again was really what I needed to do to find the right people.
Is the other part, though, of success resilience? Is that also something that in addition to failing?
I think it's having a mindset that when you fail, knowing that it's going to happen again. I talk in the book about how failure is temporary, but so is success. So ride the ups, ride the downs. It's like a roller coaster. Hands up on the way up and the way down, and just enjoy the ride, knowing that you'll ultimately arrive in the best place if you have that attitude of gratitude when things go wrong.
I also think what's hard for people sometimes with this, fail up and failure is really key to success, because it's become a popular narrative, is that a lot of times the people who are selling that narrative are now super successful CEOs, and they cite examples within their already successful businesses. So, I created this company, I sold it for hundreds of millions, and then when I created my next company, which is a brand you all know, a couple times we launched a product that didn't work out. So we learned to say, oh, okay, we'll close that product, we'll do something else. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, you can fail when you've already gotten to a certain level where you are given a ton of leeway and runway, and you have VCs throwing money at your next idea. What's harder is telling entrepreneurs, your first 3 businesses might fail, and then to keep going.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're now well over 400 million in revenue this year with our 4 brands. In the recession in 2007 and 8, we dropped $40 million. And you just have to take that and go, okay, what can I learn from this? What's going to make me a better leader? What's going to make us a better company? And if it wasn't for the recession, a lot of our franchise owners would say they didn't really grow up as entrepreneurs until that point in life. So it's how you look at the failure. It's no fun. It hurts when it happens. I'm a human being. I get depressed. I get all sorts of things like anybody. But it's just, you got to weather these storms and know that they'll end. And so, yeah, it's easy for someone to go, yeah, I got a $400 million company. Failure's fine. We'll fail again. Stuff will happen. But what do we do about it?
I also want to ask you specifically about 1-800-GOT-JUNK, because it comes to a theme we were talking about earlier in the show, which is the circular economy, right? What kind of attitudes are you seeing towards that at this point? There's been a lot of talk, I mean, as Maddie Doubler pointed out earlier, about reduce, reuse, recycle for decades now. Yeah. And yet we haven't really seen it take hold of our culture.
We are pretty wasteful as North Americans. Now, good for my business, but bad for the environment. I think that technology, look at our phones. How many phones have we all had? How many computers have we all had? You upgrade to the latest and greatest.
How many are sitting in my closet, right?
And so there's a trend definitely to being more minimalistic, but I think that we renovate. If our couch and our chairs don't look perfect, the color's wrong, it's not in season, we change our furniture. In the 50s, people would hold on to things that were quality and that were built well. They wouldn't just change them because they didn't like the colors.
Well, and the Marie Kondo trend is part of this. Tidy up, get rid of all this stuff that doesn't give you joy.
Yeah, but then what happens to all that stuff?
Yeah, maybe someone else wants it. Maybe it goes to the waste.
Yeah.
It's cyclical. Some of this stuff, when you've had to do an estate sale for a loved one, the stuff that you thought was valuable doesn't sell. The stuff that you think is junk does sell, and then in 20 years, it's the exact reverse.
Yeah, so there's definitely the Marie Kondo kind of let's pare things down and be minimalistic. I think Oprah said it years ago that keep what you love and brings you joy, or keep what is useful. Get rid of everything else. And I follow my life that way, and it certainly works. So I'm in the junk removal business. I'm a minimalist, and it works.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. The book is called WTF ? Willing to Fail. O2E Brands founder and CEO Brian Scdamore. Thank you for joining us.